The champagne flutes clinked in perfect harmony as 200 guests raised their glasses to celebrate what they believed would be another year of marital bliss. But nobody in that glittering ballroom knew that the woman standing beside her husband in a stunning emerald gown had just inherited a $1.2 trillion real estate empire from a grandfather she'd never met. Ryan Mitchell adjusted his Rolex and smiled at the crowd gathered for their 5th anniversary party, but his eyes kept drifting toward the blonde woman laughing near the dessert table. His wife's best friend, Jessica Reynolds, the woman he'd been sleeping with for 8 months. His wife, Elena Foster Mitchell, squeezed his hand and whispered something about how lucky she felt. But Ryan had already made his decision, and the divorce papers sat folded in his inner jacket pocket, waiting for the perfect moment when all their friends and family could witness what he believed would be her ultimate humiliation. The inheritance notification had arrived via encrypted email just 3 hours before the party, but Elena's phone had died that morning, leaving the message unread, leaving her completely unaware that she'd just become one of the wealthiest women in North America. Ryan cleared his throat and tapped his champagne glass with a silver spoon, calling for silence. But he had no idea that the announcement he was about to make would trigger a chain of events that would destroy everything he'd built and leave him begging for mercy from the woman he was about to publicly betray. Jessica moved closer to the stage, her red dress catching the light, her smile confident, but she too remained ignorant of the fortune that had just landed in her best friend's lap, ignorant of the fact that her betrayal would cost her more than just a friendship. The room fell silent as Ryan's voice echoed through the speakers, his words about to shatter the illusion of the perfect marriage. But Elena stood there smiling, her mind on the charitable foundation she'd planned to discuss with him later, completely unaware that her husband was about to divorce her at their own anniversary party to marry her best friend, and completely unaware that what she would do next would make it regret everything. Would Ryan have proceeded with his cruel plan if he'd known about the $1 trillion inheritance that his wife hadn't yet discovered? Would Jessica have betrayed her best friend if she'd realized that Elena was about to become more powerful than anyone in that room could imagine? Would Elena's response to this public humiliation reveal a strength that had been hidden beneath years of trying to be the perfect wife? Would the revelation of the inheritance transform Elena from a woman scorned into an unstoppable force that would dismantle everything Ryan and Jessica had schemed to build? The crystal chandeliers cast dancing shadows across the grand ballroom of the Meridian Hotel, but Elena Foster Mitchell felt a strange hollowness in her chest that all the glittering lights couldn't fill. She'd spent 6 months planning this anniversary party, coordinating with caterers and florists, selecting the perfect vintage champagne, but something in Ryan's demeanor over the past few weeks had created a distance between them that she couldn't quite name. Her husband stood beside her in his custom-tailored Tom Ford suit, his dark hair perfectly styled, his smile practiced, but his eyes held a coldness that made her stomach twist with an anxiety she kept pushing down. The ballroom buzzed with conversations from their closest friends and family members, but Elena's mind drifted to the morning her phone had died, just as she was rushing out to finalize the party arrangements. She'd forgotten to charge it the night before, too exhausted from a double shift at the community center where she volunteered, too tired from the stress of trying to be everything Ryan seemed to need her to be. The device now sat in her clutch, still dead, still silent, but on its dormant screen waited a message that would change everything.